Hey guys, good evening. Welcome to the stream. I'm Cyanide, and we have the quarterfinals of the Sultans Cup loser bracket today. So we have two sets here, as you can see in the chat. Hey Dhruv, what's up, man? Hey. So yeah, we've got Stackers X versus the Sultans. Let me just open the loser brackets here. So yeah, we have the Sultans versus the Stackers X, which is the first set, and the second set is Zankran versus Team Agent. Couple of extremely close sets, I assume. And the home maps, again, as posted in the chat. So we've got Team Islands and Golden Pit for Stackers X, and Oasis and Nomad for the Sultans. So I guess we can just take a look at the Sieve Draft after this, which would be. Yeah, so there we go. We've got on the left Morty representing Stackers X, obviously, and on the right we have Sultans. So this is still the best of three, of course. The round six of the loser bracket is where we'll have the best of five. Same with the semi-finals of the winner bracket, which has been completed as far as I know. We still have to cast it, so hopefully this weekend, I suppose, I guess maybe Saturday night or whatever, we will have the semi-finals of both the brackets. So yeah, let's see. And let me just fast forward this. So yeah, we've got a ban for Teutons and Tatars. Tatars is an interesting ban, which of course it makes sense. The Civ has been extremely good these days with the free bonus sheep in feudal age with every new town center, etc., etc. And the fact that the Civ, even otherwise, has been extremely good. So, Teutons and Tatars have been banned by Stackers X, and on the other side, we've got Britons and Mayans being banned by the Sultans, which is extremely interesting. Of course, Britons and Mayans, two of the best archer civs in the game, out of quite a few, I would say. But luckily, Ethiopians are still available. So is Saracens. We've got the Vietnamese as well. So yeah. Anyway, looking at the Civ picks for the Sultans, we've got Franks, Saracens, and Vietnamese. So Franks, of course, get their amazing paladins and the nice eco bonus at the start, giving some potential for nice scout rushes. With Saracens, of course, you since we are still playing on the old patch, these guys, the Saracen archers, of course, can still eat buildings, and of course they get camels as well, so there is that. And finally Vietnamese, so yeah, so some nice archers for them with the extra HP, etc., and the fact that they have access to imperial skirmishers can be useful on, say, maps like Arena, where you might need trash because trade might not always be a possibility. But yeah, anyway, so on the other side for Stackers X, we have Khmer, Ethiopians, and Persians. So Persians, again, a pretty nice pick. They have their paladins, they have the camels again. So a nice pocket civ for these guys. Ethiopians, of course, one of the best archer civs in the game. And finally, Khmer, again, extremely good if you're going for your early scout rushes or whatever. They can do their 16, 17 pop scouts, etc. So that can be very nice. Then for the Sultans, we have Vikings, Koreans, and Portuguese. So Team Islands is one of the home maps. So I assume Portuguese is being selected for that, of course. Same with Vikings. A couple of very good naval civs here, if I may add. And Koreans again with their free archer bonus, etc., can be pretty good, in feudal age. And on the other side, for Stackers X, we have Italians, of course, with Team Islands being one of the home maps. So Italians has been picked. They've got Malay, of course. Malay get their harbor upgrade and the unlimited fish traps, so they can be pretty dangerous. And finally, the Magyars. So Magyars again, pretty good civ. Should be interesting. They can do pretty much everything except for camels, but yeah, we shall see. And finally, for Sultans, we have Lithuanians, Byzantines, and Huns. And on the other side, for Stackers X, we've got Japanese, Mongols, and Malians. So some nice civs here. It is interesting. I mean, I've noticed personally that quite a few civs have not been picked as much as I would have personally expected them to be picked. Say, civs like the Berbers, or we've got say Indians, or even Goths or whatever. And for that matter, not even Cumans. So yeah, I mean, pretty interesting. But yeah, I guess we'll see what these guys have in mind. And let me just go online on Discord. So just in case if any co-caster wants to join, they can just join in. Anyway, I have the first game loaded up. So let me just set up everything, and yeah, I guess we can go live. So this is game one between Stackers X and the Sultans on Arabia. We've got Morty, who is playing as the flank as the Ethiopians in the red. The pocket will be Blable, as usual, playing as the Magyars. So Magyars again, pretty nice pocket save with their power spike in pretty much every age up with their infantry or their the cavalry line, I should say. And finally, the other flank is Instagram, who's playing as the Malian. So Instagram, of course, has been the weakest player in their team, but I've actually seen Morty in the voice chat quite a lot with Instagram. So possibly some some coaching that these guys might be giving him or whatever. So let's see if if there's been a notable improvement in his play. On the other side for Sultans, we have Kilias who's playing as the Vietnamese. He is the flank. We've got Sizzler who's playing as the pocket again, as usual, as the Franks. And finally, we've got the Great One who's playing as the Portuguese. Hey, that core gamer, it's Cyanide. I'm the only caster today, unfortunately. All the co-casters have suddenly become unavailable for some reason. So, yeah. Although I expect somebody might join in maybe a little later. Let's see. So yeah, I mean at this point, not much going on. We have a Vietnamese player here in Kill Your Ass, so we might see some laming. Let's see. At this point, nobody has moved out yet. Let me just check where Morty's scout is. Because yeah, exactly. There we go. So Morty has usually been quite aggressive here in the laming or whatever, and he's playing opposite to the Great One, I suppose. So should be interesting. Although the Great One has found all of his sheep here, so that's nice. But there's still this boar here. And honestly, since the Sultans, I mean, they have the Vietnamese player in their team, and I think the Great One might lose a villager here. Which he will. So that is quite unfortunate. The lady does not have any loom, and we might even see the Great One getting housed if the house doesn't come up in time. So yeah, Morty getting his first kill of the game at about 4.5 minutes in. So that's nice for these guys. Now here's the thing. I was wondering, since Morty, of course, Morty's location would be known to the Sultans. So honestly, at this point, if I was the Great One, I would have made sure that I brought in my second boar as soon as possible. uh, some inefficiencies in the build order would be fine, honestly. Just to make sure that you don't end up losing 340 food because Morty is too greedy with his scout here. But I mean, I digress. Morty still ends up killing a villager, so they do have an upper hand at this point. Idle TC time, if you're looking at that,
Dạ bẩm có thảo dân.
Kill Your Ass ends up losing a villager to the boar, so I think that was just some bad play. And this is extremely weird. So he's got one villager collecting a slaughtered sheep. This guy here was building a wall. Okay, fair enough.
Thảo dân xin chờ.
But yeah, I mean, some massive issues here for Kill Your Ass. Unfortunately, he's slaughtered two sheep under his TC. He's got two boars under his TC, and all these food sources have a shitload of food on them. So yeah, there'll be a lot of wasted resources here, unfortunately. And yeah, so just passing at this point. Nobody's interested in having a fight here. And meanwhile, we already have the Great One who has started to wall up. Unfortunately, I don't think these walls will be extremely useful because we've got the Great One here whose main goal is, I mean, it's not exposed, it's just that the walls that he has decided to are actually not, going to give him any sort of safety on his main gold at least. And his secondary gold is practically outside his base. Same can be said for the other gold. So yeah, I expect the Great One to have a lot of issues in a few minutes. I mean, at the best of times, this map spawn is extremely horrible for him, but then he's playing against Morty, so this might end up being very awful. And okay, so we've got Kilio as a scout, who might end up getting a snipe here. Okay, so he just bails on that, which makes sense, of course, because yeah, that kill wasn't coming in. And okay, so the coaching, of course, from Morty has not been extremely effective because we see Instagram here who's building a mill at 9 minutes in. And unfortunately, Scout is idle as well. So, yeah, at this point, we've got. Okay, so interestingly, Kilya seems to have lost two villagers. We have unfortunately missed the second villager kill. Or maybe the one that we saw was the second villager, and he lost one before that. And finally, the great one, of course, losing a villager to Morty's scout. So yeah, this should be interesting. And we already have Sizzler on the way to Feudal Age. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to play. Ah, two wills to the same bow. Oh man, that is extremely awful. So yeah, and I mean, as I was saying, yeah, so we haven't been paying any real attention to Blapley or Sizzler here because so much has been going on the other side, and we have Man at Arms coming in from Morty here. Reaches at a nice time, and of course, the Great One isn't walled at all over here. So these Man at Arms should be able to do quite a lot. And oh man, somehow this mod ended up enabling itself, so we have the stupid sound effects, but yeah, there we go. So yeah, Morty has already killed one more villager from the Great One, and unfortunately at this point we've got the Great One who's got an idle lumber camp over here. So he does manage to get the quick walls up, fair enough, but then these guys can effectively just walk under the TC because there is no villager here to shoot any arrows. And yeah. So even though Morty got one kill using his man-at-arms, which is of course still massive, quite massive, but yeah, I mean one villager kill is all right. The fact is he's idled the Great One's eco for such a long time, and we are already seeing Sizzler here out with his scouts. Might be able to get inside Instagram's base because Instagram, of course, isn't walled up completely. But this is interesting here. Ah, okay, and we have a 13-minute rush coming from Instagram, so Morty seems to have taught this guy something at least. But, I mean, yeah, at this point, Kilios already has a couple of archers out. Should be able to make short work of these militias. But, yeah, I mean, he loses at least one archer here. Might end up losing the second as well. And meanwhile, Blapley also out with the scouts here. And I think this has been a preemptive tower here. But I mean, of course, it makes sense if he's not confident of defending himself. It's fine, you know, if you can just save yourself with the tower. Honestly, I feel like this tower should have been here because these villagers, unfortunately, are having to walk quite a long way just to deposit their gold. Same with the archery range, slightly far forward, and you know, leave some space over here. But yeah, so there we go. Okay, so the Great One seems to have sort of stabilized at this point. He's got some archers out. That's 6 archers for him. That's 9 scouts for Sizzler. And Sizzler managed to get inside Morty's base. Oh, actually, that wasn't his scout. Right. So, let me just see where Sizzler scouts are. Okay, so they are unfortunately at his own base. I wonder what his plan is. And on the other side, okay, so we've got the Great One who's moving forward now. And Blapley is here inside. Might be able to threaten this gold. And you already see a villager being dead over here. Two actually, because he's lost 2 villagers at some point. But yeah, I mean, again, honestly, some basic mistakes over here. These production buildings being at the back in all of this clutter makes no sense. Just put up walls here and honestly, yeah, I mean, just make your production buildings over here. This would be a nice place. So would this be a better place? And honestly, way too many on gold. So
Điện hạ
some
có gì
build
sai
order
phạm?
inefficiencies as well. But yeah, I mean, apart from that, not a lot going on currently. Villager count seems to be similar. We've got the Sultans with 98 villagers, Stackers X at 94, and military numbers also pretty similar. And Blaple has lost a scout as well. Honestly, these archers, they need to go forward because we've already got Instagram who's sent his archers forward. So if nothing else, just take these archers down. Although Instagram does have the fletching upgrade, compare that to Kill Your Ass, who still does not. Yeah, I mean Scissors scout numbers will carry, of course. The problem is these guys, they aren't doing anything. Like he ran back to his base. He went forward, and now he's back here. And meanwhile, we have the great one here who is moving forward. Unfortunately, he's going to run into walls. And I mean, as I say that, Blaple has clicked up to Castle Age. So has Sizzler, for that matter. But Sizzler actually about 30 seconds later. But yeah, I mean, like I said, the scout numbers, of course, a big difference here. We've got 3 or 4 that Blaple had made. Compare that to Sizzler's 9 or 10. But yeah, I mean, these scouts honestly haven't done a lot here. And on this side, yeah, so kill your ass. I mean, to be honest, this is a waste of time. Man, just delete your walls. Make sure your army goes forward as soon as possible. Because at 20 minutes, if you have your archers without any upgrades, uh, and the fact that you've got an archer or a couple of archers garrisoned in your archery range makes no sense. So yeah, I mean, kill your ass. Yeah, I mean, 21 minutes. These archers just camping here makes absolutely no sense. At this point, yeah, you might as well just go back, try and get to Castle Age as soon as possible. Get to crossbows, and then maybe you can do whatever damage you want. Because I mean, we already see that Draple is in Castle Age, so the knight should be coming out extremely quickly. And okay, so we have the great one here who is threatening Morty, but then Morty has already clicked up to Castle Age. Should be there in about 90 seconds. So Morty loses a few archers, but yeah, I mean, long term, honestly, I prefer Stacker's X's position here because Blapley, of course, in Castle Age should be able to start making his knights. And honestly, on this side, Scissor plus Kill Your Ass have not done the damage that they needed to do. So, I mean, we've seen this quite a lot, right? Where we have Instagram here who manages to hold off one enemy without completely dying off, and Morty and Blaple then usually manage to just steamroll the opposition, which is, of course, what we are seeing here again. Because Morty is just about to hit the castle age. So even though he loses a few archer numbers here, uh, just 5 archers, yeah, anyway, he's getting the Botkin upgrade. No crossbow upgrade, surprisingly. Is he short on resources? Let me just check. So, okay, Morty is most definitely not short on resources, so I wonder why he's not getting the crossbow upgrade. And yeah, so meanwhile we have Kill Your Ass here who has gone forward and is managing to do damage to Instagram here. But honestly, again, as we've been saying so often, uh, Sizzler and Kill Your Ass need to go to Blaplay's base. Especially since we already see Sizzler has also hit Castle Age. So his knights plus kill your ass's archers slash crossbows soon to be need to go forward. And okay, on the other side, we've got the Great One who is getting beaten up pretty badly here. Unfortunately, he gets to Castle Age, but I don't think he has any military at this point. He's got just 5 archers, and these are +2 knights from Blaple. Magyars, of course, so they get the free attack upgrades. So, yeah, I mean, this is looking extremely bad for the Great One, unfortunately. And these guys, of course, being +2 knights, can take fights under the PC, snipe as many villagers as he wants to. And I mean, he's already got 16 knights. Some of them seem to be heading towards Sizzler's base. So even though Sizzler has his own knights, these do not have the attack upgrades that the Magyar knights get. And yeah, so Morty following behind. And so on this side, sorry. So yeah, I mean on this side we've got Kyrgios with a pretty massive wall of archers. That's 28 of them. But I mean, unfortunately, these guys are still inside their own base, which I mean that does make sense now that we've got Blapley and Castle Age. But yeah, I think this is pretty close to a GG at this point. Even though Sultans does have more villager numbers compared to Stackers X, that's 12 more villagers at this point. But yeah, I mean, this is looking pretty bad for these guys. And Chief Cots is heading to save the Great One. But I mean, unfortunately, at this point, there's practically nothing left to be saved, because that's 16 villagers that the Great One has, and I mean, Sizzler can of course donate his own knights to the cause of saving the Great One. He can't donate villagers, right? So 17 villagers, 2 military. Yeah, there's not a lot that can be done. And Morty even getting ballistics slightly later than I would have expected, at about 30 minutes or 28 minutes, but yeah, I mean, still. And Kilias finally moving forward with his crossbows. Unfortunately, I think the damage has already been done. So I think the Great One here, if nothing else, honestly, I would just prefer, if he just bailed on his base and tried to seek some shelter at Sizzler's base. And Sizzler making a defensive castle here. Honestly, I mean, his farming eco, he does not have a lot of it over there. Most of it is here, which of course can be sniped by crossbows or whatever. But yeah, I mean, at this point, it's looking extremely bad for the Sultans. So even though they have the villager lead, or they did have the villager lead, Stackers X seems to have caught up. Just 2 less villagers now. So yeah, we've got 27 knights for Blapley. Some of them heading back, some of them just being made over here. But yeah, I mean, like I said, unfortunately, the Great One is completely dead. He's at just 10 villagers. Instagram, meanwhile, is at 25, but then Instagram isn't being hit by anybody. So even though these crossbows from Kilias have managed to get inside Blaple's base, and I mean, they can do some damage, of course, but honestly, yeah, this is looking extremely bad. And I mean, honestly, at this point, it just makes sense for Morty to send his crossbows to Sizzler's base, because there's nothing left over here. 13 villagers are not going to be able to do anything, so you might as well just send your villagers to Sizzler's base and finish them off completely. Because once the support of the knights stop, there's nothing that the Sultans can do. You were hit by 10 scouts and 15 archers in feudal. So yeah, I mean, you were hit. Unfortunately, I still feel that was quite late when these guys actually managed to, hit you. Because there was some delay. These guys had the military, it's just that they weren't really attacking when they should have. And I mean, I personally don't feel there was a communication gap. If they needed to attack the flank, they should have. It's just that they should have gone onto the pocket earlier than they did. Because Killioas reaching Blaplay's base at 30 minutes, you can just see what happened over here. Like practically no kills, and Killioas's entire army died. So even though he has more, he is making more. He's got 24 crossbows at this point. They can't really do much. And Morty, of course, hitting Imperial Age, he's got 2 siege workshops. Holy shit! So these are battering rams about to be capped rams, and we might even see the siege ram upgrade coming in. And Instagram just about clicking to get to Castle Age. Still about 2.5 minutes to go for that. But I mean, yeah, like I said, once we have Blapley and Morty heading to Sizzler's base, I think they'll just call it at that point. Because even though Sizzler has clicked up, I don't assume that he will get to Imperial Age. Or maybe he will get to Imperial Age and quit after that. Let's see. Actually, he is making some army. He's got 21 knights. Compare that to Blapley, of course. Blapley's got 35, so there is a pretty big difference over there. Unfortunately, the problem is that he has not been able to attack because one of his flanks has just completely died. And yeah, as I was saying, Captain Rams here. Unfortunately, I don't think we'll see siege rams in this game. And okay, so the Great One decides to bail on his base because I mean, there's practically nothing left here. Unfortunately, that TC won't go up either. And right, so we've got this thing over here where Blapley decided to go inside Sizzler's base. So we have Killioas's entire military camping inside, and what will happen now, as expected, is we'll have Blapley hitting Killioas directly instead. So even if the pocket stays alive, there's nothing that can be done, and there's a nice little hole here for those knights. So yeah. That's 30 knights. These guys can easily take down a TC if they want to. They can take down all the TCs. So wait, let me see how many okay, so kill your ass with a single TC. Has queued up Imp. And honestly, if these knights attack the TC, I don't believe Kill Your Ass would even get to Imperial Age. There is no subscription button because we haven't done the partner thing yet. We are planning to do it at some point, hopefully in the next 10 to 15 days or so. So yeah, once we do agree with the terms or whatever, you should be able to see a subscription button. And will Kill Your Ass get to Imperial is the question. Oh, okay, he just manages to get to Imperial Age. Unfortunately, okay, so he does manage to save his TC, yeah, but I mean, yeah, the game is pretty much over at this point. And we even have Instagram sending forward some crossbows to help Blapley over here. Morty, as you can see, has completely wiped out the Great One, unfortunately. And right, so a secret base for the Great One. Let's see how long that lasts. Although interestingly, we have Sizzler getting the cavalry upgrade before Blapley. And okay, so we will see siege rams in this game. That is something nice to see. I don't believe we've seen siege rams in any game yet in this tournament. And yeah, I mean this that's 52 Ethiopian arbalest. These guys can practically one-shot anything. And oh man, so yeah, so exactly. Sizzler actually decided, or actually, you know what, Sizzler just needs to pull back at this point because even though Blapley does not have cavaliers, he just has a massive number of them. He's got 40 knights here. Compare that to whatever number of cavaliers that Sizzler had. Not a lot, actually, and unfortunately none at this point. So, yeah, I mean, those 13 cavaliers, they might take down these knights now, but, yeah, I mean, it's too late at this point. Surprisingly, Morty even going for halves, which is, I mean, of course, he does not need the halves. But yeah, I mean, we can just see these siege ramps coming in. Unfortunately, yeah, so this effectively means that Sizzler's base will be flattened in about 3 to 4 minutes, I would say. And yeah, so again, surprising. Blapley not going for the cavalry upgrade. Does he have the resources? Yeah, he has way more than required. So, floating a shitload of resources. Unfortunately, not getting the cavalry upgrade. But I mean, yeah, I mean, it does not matter at this point. Both these castles will go down to the siege ranks. There's nothing that Sizzler can do about it. There's nothing that Killioaz can do about it. So that's one castle down. That is soon to be the second castle down as well. And Killioaz is getting hit pretty hard by Instagram, I might add. And yeah, I mean, honestly, at this point, I don't see why these guys don't just call it. Because there's a massive difference in the military numbers as well. Wait. Blapley did not click up to him. Oh, okay. Uh, so in that case, I think maybe he just does not have the buildings. We'll see that, but yeah, I mean, as you can just see here, we have Sizzler calling the GG. So game one goes to Stackers X. Let's just have this run through. So yeah, let me just see. Scissor, I don't think had the buildings. Okay, so he has a university, he has a monastery. So I wonder why he never clicked up. So yeah, that's GG's, and unfortunately that was a pretty one-sided game. There was some initial aggression, of course, or rather there was some potential for aggression from the Sultans, but yeah, Sister Scouts weren't able to do the damage, and Kizioas again, military buildings at the back, no upgrades on his archers, so there wasn't a lot that he could actually do over there. Let's take a look at the stats then. And yeah, so Blapley being absolutely beastly here with his KD. Morty though was faster on the up times on pretty much every age, and just this massive military again. Okay, he was jet sacked. Right. I do believe Morty and I had this chat where Blapley was unavailable for quite a while. So yeah, fair enough. Morty sucks ass. Right. Okay. Eco-wise, yeah, there you go. So this is a massive amount of food collection. Unfortunately, did not translate to military numbers or a better KD. So yeah. And again, society-wise, so Morty, I believe, had a similar number of military to villagers. He's got 90 villagers to 88 military. So yeah, there you go. And this is a man with that epic boom of 143 villagers. Unfortunately, again, like I said, not a lot of military to help him. And yeah, so finally, this is the timeline. So yeah, I guess we can just go to the second game now. Should be on Oasis. Okay. And seems to be in two parts. Fair enough. So we should expect to see a disconnection at some point. And yeah, so follow age. We don't have that command game, the foodie. So yeah, anyways, we've got Morty who's playing as the Mongols here. I assume he's the flank. The pocket is Blaple as usual, playing as the Persians. Let me just zoom out a little. And finally, the other flank is Instagram, who is playing as the Japanese. Japanese on Oasis is extremely interesting, but yeah, I mean, there you go. And I am interested in seeing the sort of walls that Instagram makes here. On Instagram's opposite side, we've got Kill Your Ass, who's playing as the Koreans. The pocket is Sizzler playing as the Lithuanians. And finally, the other flank is the Great One playing as the Saracens. So, man, the Great One seems to be having it quite rough. Second game here again, opposite Morty. So, I expect him to be hit pretty hard, especially on a map like Oasis, where finding team locations or the opponent's locations is quite a lot easier. So, Morty will most definitely go for some sort of aim here. I do expect him to do that. Um, so I believe he has found most of his resources except for these water buffaloes over here. So I think once he finds those, he might go forward. And yeah, I mean, apart from that, not a lot going on. This being Oasis, should be interesting to see, if any team decides to go for those massive walls that we usually see on Oasis. I think Kilyas might be able to do it here. Since he's closer to this wood line here, which can sort of extend right up to the edge of the map. Same thing for Morty actually. If the Great One wants to, I mean, it's going to be pretty difficult for the Great One to do the sort of walls that he usually does. But yeah, let's see. And any villager kills, villager deaths, nothing yet. Not a lot of idle TC time either. The highest is by Instagram, which is still just 7 seconds, which isn't a lot, considering Instagram is, I believe, around 900 ELO. So that's pretty nice by him. And yeah, I mean, not a lot going on at this point. Except Morty has now decided to go forward. A lot of resources here being completely ignored. I believe these are his starting resources. Same can't be said, of course, about these three over here.
Timo.
And yeah, so Morty should be able to bring that Rhino in pretty safely. There we go. Unfortunately, the fact that it was so far meant that he lost quite a lot of his villager's HP. And we might see the Great One here losing his scout to Morty's scout. Surprisingly, Morty has managed to get 2 hits without the Great One even getting a single hit in. And I think now, yeah, we'll see the Great One might just run his scout into Morty's TC. And there we go.
أمر مستعدة.
Okay, so and we seem to have missed a villager death here. Blaple seems to have lost a villager. I assume to... Okay, so this rhino has not lost any HP, which means Blaple seems to have lost a villager to the first rhino. Which is, of course, the only thing that makes sense. Him being the pocket. And, okay, so we see the Great One does decide to go for some sort of walling here. Unfortunately, that's a shitload of wood that he'll have to spend. And, I mean, even if he does manage to, wall this up completely, it's extremely close to his own base. So, yeah, I mean, those berries might be hit pretty early. If Morty decides to go for any sort of action in Feudal Age, which he might, considering he has clicked up to Feudal and is making a barracks at this point. So I assume him to go for scouts. as opposed to what usually happens in this tournament where people seem to pick Mongols and go for a man-at-arms build. So yeah, Morty with his 19 pop is most definitely going to go for scouts. So let's see if the Great One manages to get some walls up before Morty gets his scouts forward.
مستعد.
Wait, what? Where was this guy going? Oh man. Honestly, yeah, I mean at this point, wait, what? I have to assume that was a misclick by Morty because Morty attacked the tiger rather than the villager. Did not make a lot of difference, of course, because Morty still managed to snipe that weak villager. But yeah, there we go. So we have the Great One already one villager down. But yeah, I mean, Morty, yeah, there we go. So Morty's stable is already up, which means he should be able to get his first scout out in about 20 or so seconds. And we might actually have the Great One finishing his walls. Will he manage to or not is the question. Because if he does manage to get the walls up, there is still a chance for the Great One to... Oh man, please, just get the... Oh man, this villager could have easily gotten the walls up.
نعم.
Which means there is a hole which is not plugged and Morty will just be able to run his scouts into the Great One's base. Oh man, all this effort and it's a single tile which betrays him, unfortunately. And yeah, I mean Morty now can create absolute havoc at the Great One's base. On the other side, still not a lot of action going on. So we have Kiryas who's just camping with his scout, and Instagram meanwhile is going for his archery range, per usual for him. Now I would say. Going for a tower and he's mining stone. So he is making an archery range, but he's not collecting gold at this point. And okay, so the Great One does manage to get the wall up, or at least some of it up. But yeah, I mean, this can easily be sniped by a single spear because that's what 13 HP for this. And yeah, I mean this one can easily be taken down. And surprisingly, Morty seems to be going towards the pocket here. And man, Scissor of course is going for an FC, which is the same thing that Blaplay is doing. Because we've got both who've got about 100 seconds to go before they reach the castle age, but Scissor of course loses a villager. Might end up losing one more. Yeah, there we go. So man, Morty's scouts have done quite a lot of work, and let's see where he decides to go now. And okay, on the other side, we've got Kill Your Ass who's gone forward. Korean archers, of course, get the free armor upgrade. So what is surprising is that he has not got fletching yet. At 15 minutes, not having fletching is, yeah, I mean, honestly, just some slight tweaks in the build order would be enough. And holy shit, man, just look at this inefficiency here. So Sizzler again, I mean, even though he will get to Castle Age, and he should have, I think, enough wood to drop at least one stable if he decides to. Yeah, there we go. But, I mean, the issue here is that he won't be able to drop a TC, and... Oh, man. Yeah, so, I mean, as I was saying, Scissor does not have the wood to drop another TC. And luckily, he just manages to collect the wood. But, yeah, I mean, a massive issue here for Sultans. And, I mean, at this point, we've already got Blapley, who is in Castle Age. And he is getting the armor upgrade for his knights or camels or whatever he decides. Okay, so he is making knights. already has bloodlines, so yeah, I mean these archers won't be able to do a lot. And even though there are reinforcements, Blapple is already in Castle Age, so how much can these archers really do at this point? And man, the amount of value that Morty's been able to get out of those 3 scouts. He's managed to kill 4 villagers from Scissor and 4 for the Great One. So, and now I think he's decided to just go back to the Great One's base. And I expect these lumberjacks to be hit again. And okay, on the other side, we've got some double layer warning. Honestly, man, just make a couple of gates here. Okay, yeah. So the gates are actually quite far, which means that Blapple will have to make his knights go all the way around here. Making some gates here would have made a lot of sense, but yeah, I mean, unfortunately, that does not seem to be happening. Villager numbers again, Sultans in the lead here with about 8 more villagers and similar amounts of military. But honestly, I think we've seen this, where Sultans, of course, they have the higher villager numbers, but they have not been able to follow up with the military, or the speed with which they need to add their military. So Morty going for, I believe that's just his second TC at this point. Yeah, so that's his second TC that he's building, and his scouts are still doing a lot of work. One more villager killed here for the Great One. And yeah, as I was saying, these knights should be able to take down those feudal archers quite easily. And even though we see Kilias has clicked up to Castle Age, I honestly don't know what he can do from here. Because Scissor was hit extremely hard. Even though he does have the villagers now, I believe he's going to have a shitload more wood compared to everything else. Actually, it is not, but he has 21 villagers on wood at this point. And these scouts... Oh, Morty being a nice boy over here, gifting some cows to the Great One, or water buffaloes or whatever. And okay, so this is where the disconnection came in. I think it was Instagram who dropped. Let me just check. Okay, yeah. So Instagram had an electricity flicker, which meant that the game dropped, and let us just go to part 2 of the game. Nice to see not a lot of lost time on the recording or whatever, but wait, what? Instagram is going for skirmishers? Skirmishers with fletching at 22 minutes, which of course does make sense because we have Kilias who's making archers, and Scissor has not been able to really make any sort of military, even though he is in Castle Age. He has just 2 spears at this point, and I don't see him being able to pump knights as he would like. Unfortunately, he does not even have a single stable up. So yeah, as expected, we have Killio as being pressured quite a lot over here by Instagram's crossbows and scoms, and okay, so now we have Kilias also with his crossbows. Unfortunately, he's fighting downhill, does not have the Botkin upgrade. For that matter, neither does Instagram. But yeah, I mean, makes no sense to fight downhill, even though you're the Koreans and you get the free armor upgrades. And on this side, the Great One is, I think he's on 3 TCs, yeah, so there we go. That's 3 TCs for the Great One. Unfortunately, yeah, I mean, there's not a lot being done by the Sultans. And Stackers is going to just overtake them on the military numbers in a couple of minutes. Because we already have 7 knights out from Blaple. And meanwhile, we have Sizzler who's going for a monk. He's playing as a Lithuanian, so it makes sense to collect a relic or two. But yeah, I mean, where's the military, man? And on this side, this guy is coming forward. Morty does have the stone for a castle, so I expect a castle to come up. Honestly, this would be an epic place for a castle, either here or here. With the hill bonus. And the fact that, you know, if you place your castle here, you can even deny the cold. So, yeah, let's see where he decides to place it. And Great One, unfortunately, I mean, those stone walls. He is going to realize in... Oh, actually, he does not see it in the fog of war. Oh, man. So he has no idea that there is a castle coming up right on this hill, and even though Morty's got a knight out attacking this this palisade wall, yeah, the castle is going to do a lot of work. And I mean, for that matter, we've got Sizzler also with the stone. Same here for Instagram as well. And honestly, man, if Instagram decides to drop a castle here, that would be pretty epic. And yeah, so Kilias with the Siege Workshop. Honestly, the Siege Workshop is practically useless at this point because, I mean, we've got Zapse with his knights, so those knights can easily take down any sort of mangonel or whatever comes out. And the castle does come up. No mango dye production yet. And yeah, I mean, Sizzler is a boomer, that is for sure. We've seen this where I think it was Stacker Z versus another team, where the other team had a Teuton pocket. Went FC, made some knights, no engagement until Imperial Age, and then just flattened these guys who had Mongols and another. I mean, a pretty nice pocket save, but I don't believe they got the Paladin upgrade. The problem here is that Blaple already has 17 knights, and these guys are about to get inside Kilias's base. Same thing on the other side as well. So Morty will manage to get inside the Great One's base now. As you can see here, he already is. So yeah, I mean, there's not a lot that Sizzler can do. Even if he booms to 150 villagers, gathers a shitload of resources, what can you really do when both your flanks are completely dead? Not a single knight out yet. And I mean, we can see that he has clicked up to Imperial Age, but I do believe he has been extremely greedy here. Although let's just check how many relics he has. So he's got 2 relics at this point, and that's his only monastery. So fair enough, 2 relics for Sizzler. And the villager numbers are also pretty good. He's got 116 villagers. The problem here is that Morty also has 107 villagers. He's got a forward castle, and oh man, so we missed this. Unfortunately, of course, with the hail bonus, the Mangnal should be able to do the extra damage. And Morty going for a second castle here. Any mango dye yet? Okay, so he's got knights garrisoned in his castle. I don't believe he's going for any mango dye play here. Because all he has at this point is the fletching upgrade, nothing else. And I mean, on this side, these guys are pretty much in. And yeah, I mean, these +2 knights with the Bloodlines upgrade. Of course, Kilias does have the military, fully upgraded Castle Age crossbows. But yeah, I mean, what can you do really? Sizzler, of course, is about to hit Imperial Age. But he has practically... Okay, so he has started to make military now. He's got 4 knights out. I mean, for what it's worth, they are fully upgraded Castle Age knights. He should be going for the other armor upgrade now. But yeah, I mean, meanwhile, we've already got Morty, who is also advanced to the Imperial Age. And although the Great One has clicked up, I don't expect him to be able to do a lot. Yeah, you're talking about here, right? He should have taken the fight here. I mean, honestly, at this point, it would not have made a lot of difference because we've got these crossbows as well, plus this mangonel. So, yeah, I mean, even though Blapley has lost pretty much his entire military, this idle eco here has done a lot for Stacker's X, and Morty is going for a shitload of castles at this point. He's already got 2 up, and he is going for the Elite Mango Die upgrade, so we will see some Mango Die coming out. And yeah, so there's the chemistry upgrade, there's the armor upgrade coming in, so yeah, some hype for Mango Die, most definitely. But I mean, yeah, let's see how many he manages to mass up, because he's already at 140 villagers. Not a lot of military here, as you can see, just 2 knights and 2 trebs, but that has been enough for him to hold off the Great One. And the Great One, unfortunately, just has feudal age military here. So he's got 4 archers, he's got 3 spears and a monk. So I mean, what can he really do at this point? And we've got Sizzler, who is moving forward. Instagram, of course, has the double layer palisade walls. Palisades, of course, will not be able to do anything against these cavaliers with the extra attack upgrades. But okay, so we've got 43 cavaliers, so he was able to pump them out quite quickly. 45 cavaliers, and military numbers actually have completely switched over. I mean, we've got 80 military here for Sultans and just 11 for Stackers. And meanwhile, these guys have already started trade, so fair enough. Morty does not have any military except for 6 trebuchets. So yeah, no Mango Die yet. And I believe that is the drill's upgrade that is coming in. So maybe you just go straight siege. Yeah, there it is. So drill siege, siege rams with a shitload of castles, and yeah, I mean beyond that, yeah, should be interesting to see what these guys decide to do. Because as you can see here, Sizzler is going for some sort of a forward push on this side towards Instagram's base. But Blapley does have the military. He's even going for the Paladin upgrade now. So he'll get to Paladins pretty much at the same time that Sizzler does. Because Sizzler is about to get his Paladin upgrade in about a minute. And about 90 seconds here for Blapley. So these Cavaliers are out, and honestly doing the smart thing here, just sending them forward toward Morty's base, because Morty, I don't expect him to... Okay, so he has managed to make some walls. Unfortunately, that's just a single layer palisade here, which I believe Morty should be able to fix in time. Assuming he realizes that, you know, these Cavaliers are heading towards his base. And a defensive castle here. Wait, what? What are these walls here for Kilias? So yeah, I honestly don't see Sizzler being able to get in now. There is a single layer house here which he might still be able to snipe, but Morty's got 3 villagers here, so he can just keep reinforcing the wall behind this. And honestly, I mean, at this point, all Morty has to do is just start pumping out his military. He's already got 29 Mango Die out. And... Okay. Sizzler did manage to get inside. Unfortunately, we just missed that. But yeah, I mean, how many Cavaliers is that? So that's 15 plus 1. So that's 16 Cavaliers that Sizzler has managed to get inside. And Morty should be able to, of course, take these Cavaliers down now. And on the other side, we've got Blapley with his Paladins. I do believe there is a hole here. Right, yeah. So Paladins for both. My apologies. But yeah, I mean, we've got Blapley on this side also with his Paladins. And this hole, unfortunately, means that all these Paladins are inside. And not only will they be able to do damage to kill your ass here, but there's a simple route here towards Sizzler's base. And yeah, I think Morty has been able to take care of those Paladins. Yeah, pretty much. So that's what, 5 Paladins left now. And yeah, these Mangadai should be able to make short work of them. But yeah, I mean, as I was pointing out, the Paladins that got inside Kill Your Ass's base are about to cause a massive headache for Sizzler, because there you go. These guys are inside Sizzler's base, and again, yeah, I mean, even though he has 141 villagers, I don't expect him to be able to do a lot here. I mean, he can keep pumping out his Paladins. The problem here is that there's this massive hole, and man, honestly, I don't know if this hole has been plugged over here. Is there a gap? Let's see. But yeah, I mean, apart from that, Morty has managed to hold off whatever Paladins got inside his base, and I expect him to go forward now. And he's already got his siege rams out, so yeah, the Great One should be expecting those siege rams to come forward pretty soon. So yeah, I mean, still surprisingly a pretty close game. When you look at the first one, that was quite one-sided. This time at least, there has been a pretty nice fight back from the Sultans, and I mean, if you just look at the villager numbers, there's like 65 more villagers here for the Sultans. Same with the military numbers. So yeah, and unfortunately, Instagram's the only player who's still in Castle Age. Although he has just clicked up to Imperial, as I said that. And getting ballistics at 46 minutes in. Fair enough. So I think the plan now should be for Blapley to just sort of hold off on this side. To make sure that Kill Your Ass cannot really move forward. And Morty to go in from the other side. With some support from Blapley's Paladins. And yeah, I mean, these Siege Rams should be able to make short work of the entirety of the Great One's base. So that's 47 Mangodai here. We've got 8 Siege Rams. These 3 Onagers, right? So not Siege Onagers yet, but we do see the Siege Onager upgrade about to come in. And okay, so what exactly is going on here? Ah, so Sizzler does have some Paladin still alive, and they seem to be harassing Morty's trade. But I mean, those Paladins from Blapley should be able to take care of that. And yeah, there we go. So the Ferrari Rams are heading towards the Great One's base, and I mean, there is a pretty massive military here for the other side as well. We've got 76 arbalets for the Great One. Fully upgraded, I assume. Except for the last armor upgrade. But yeah, I mean, these are fully upgraded arbalets at this point. And that's 55 paladins, or 54 paladins here for Sizzler. But yeah, I mean, these paladins from Blapley should be able to wipe out most of these lumberjacks if they actually headed in that direction, which they aren't. And yeah, so meanwhile we have Morty already going forward. killing a few villagers. I expect. Oh man. So, just look at this butterfly. So, the Great One unfortunately losing, I think, about 60 arbalest to those siege onagers there. And yeah, I mean, even though we have a lot of paladins here for Sizzler, that's how many 42 paladins here. There's not a lot that they can do. And yeah, I do believe that this should be the GG. And yeah, there we go. So Sizzler just decides to call it at this point. And yeah, I mean, even this castle coming up here, honestly, it made no sense because the rest of his base is completely, easily destroyable, if you want to get inside. And the fact that these guys even managed to get some trade going. So yeah, that is pretty nice, and that means this is a 2-0 for Stackers X. Let me just take a look at the stats here. So yeah, Morty and Blapre, of course, just playing extremely well in this game. Even though Sizzler did manage to boom pretty massively and have his military out, I mean, I guess these guys always had the lead. Even though they lost their military during that short period where I think Sultans had close to like 80 military, and compare that to Stackers who had, I think, it was like single digits or low double digits. But yeah, I mean, overall, I think these guys always had the lead. And yeah, I mean, looking at the eco, Morty pretty much beating everybody except on the food count, which of course makes sense. Playing as Mongols, you don't really need a lot of food. And 166 villagers here for Morty. I do believe he might have killed some villagers at some point. If not, I guess he might have even enjoyed getting raided by Sizzler's paladins. Which meant that, of course, he was able to make more military at that point. So yeah, that is one set done. So let me just update the bracket here. We have Stackers X winning 2-0 against the Sultans. So yeah, this is what the brackets look like at this point. We have the Stackers X who are going into the semi-finals of the loser bracket. Who will face them should be, of course, either Land Clan or Team Agent. And we have the game for you now. So yeah, so I will just load the game, pause it, and we can just announce the home maps here meanwhile. So we've got Agents have picked Arena and Budapest as their home maps, and meanwhile on the other side for Zankland we've got Team Islands and Golden Pit. Let's just go and take a look at the Sieve Draft now. So yeah, we've got Doomstar on the left playing for Agents, of course, and on the right we have Bloodless who is representing Land Clan. So let us just fast forward through this, and of course keeping in mind the map picks here. So we've got a ban for Britons and Lithuanians. Lithuanians ban, of course, makes sense on Arena, so they have banned that. And on the other side, Land Clan have just decided to ban Burmese and Saracens. Burmese, of course, can be pretty deadly on Arena, so the Burmese ban is sort of justified for that. Saracens, I honestly, I mean, I don't understand the ban for Saracens, but I mean, if somebody from Land Clan is in the chat, maybe they can just, explain why Saracens was banned. And looking at the Sieve Picks, we've got Ethiopians, Vietnamese, and Khmer for Land Clan. On the other side, we've got Mayans, Franks, and Persians for Agent. So some extremely nice civs for Arabia. Franks, of course, one of the best cavalry civs. Persians can be pretty useful with their paladins or camels or whatever. And I mean, they are better suited for hybrid maps or whatever. But even on standard maps like Arabia, Persians are an extremely good pick. And okay, so we've got then Byzantine, Slavs, and Portuguese for land clan. On the other side, we have Vikings, Koreans, and Cumans. So Vikings, of course, with their extremely nice eco bonus, Cumans with their feudal age TCs can again be pretty nice to play with. Vikings might be picked because of the Team Islands pick. So that should be interesting to see. Same thing with the Portuguese on the other side. And finally, a Civ that I was talking about in the previous set, Berbers, is being picked by Langsan over here. So we have the Berbers, Mongols, and the Incas. And on the other side for Agent, we've got the Turks, which makes a lot of sense on Arena. So we've got the Turks, we've got the Japanese, and we've got the Italians. So Italians, again, Team Islands being one of the home maps makes a lot of sense. And Turks, I mean, as I said, on Arena. So should be interesting, and I guess we can just go to the game now. Let me just fix a few things in the overlay, and after that, yeah, we can just go live. Yeah, so let's go. We've got the Bomberman, who's playing as the Franks. He's the pocket who usually plays as the pocket. We will have Doomster, who's playing as the Japanese as one of the flanks, and on the other side we'll have Attila Chewing Gum, who is playing as the Koreans. So these three guys, of course, have uh, uh, played quite well, I would say. And Bomberman seems to thrive playing as the pocket. Something that I've noticed. He seems to be able to do extremely well. Get his scouts out or his knights out or whatever. And as I say that, his villager unfortunately slaughters an extra sheep. So possibly just a commentator's or a caster's jinx. On the other side, we've got Blizzard 42 who's playing as the Incas. He's the first flank. We've got Warpy who's playing as the pocket with Slavs. And finally, the other flank is Bloodless who's playing as the Ethiopians. So, I mean, on balance, I would just say I prefer land clan civs to agents, but I mean, at this level, of course, the civs do not make that big a difference. The way you play them usually ends up deciding what's going to happen. And Bloodless, I think, has realized that Doomster could be his opponent, so he just decides to bring his boar in way too early. And unfortunately, in all of that, he has slaughtered a sheep here, so a bunch of food is going to be wasted for him. And yeah, so Doomster meanwhile is already far forward. Should be able to spot his sheep. And yeah, so there we go. Doomster, I believe, has found all of his sheep here. Let me just check if Bloodless. Okay, so Bloodless has also found his extra sheep. Unfortunately, he is wasting one sheep over here. Because of being so worried about Doomster's aiming that he seems to have forgotten his build order completely. So, I mean, he had 5 on wood. And man, honestly, Bloodless, yeah, exactly. He's afraid of being lamed here.
Ow.
The problem is that he's wasting so much food due to rotting because
Selamünaleyküm.
and I do believe this villager will also get an extra hit because she was quite close to the boar when she shot it. So he should be able to save the villager, but yeah, I mean, there you go. And yeah, so Bloodless does lose a villager to boar. And a lot of food as well. So we've got, I think that is like 90 food that has been wasted on the sheep and about 30 food that will be wasted on this boar. So yeah, Doomster, even though you did not lame, you managed to actually get a villager kill somehow.
Yeah.
And okay, so you also got a weak villager. Luckily, she managed to save herself. So let's just look at the TC idle time. Man, Bloodless with 22, 23 seconds of idle TC time. Blizzard 42 at 20 seconds. And wait, how did you lose your scout HP? Did you run into Bloodless's TC? Because I actually missed that. I mean, that is the assumption. That's the only way your scout could have lost so much HP. Because I don't see Bladders making any sort of forward buildings or whatever. Yeah, I just noticed, yeah. So Bladders has lost his scout and you've almost lost your scout, so fair enough. And okay, on this side we already have Blizzard 42 who is getting some walls up, which is nice to see, and I actually like these walls that he's making here. Making some nice use of those wood lines. And let's see how much Attila has spotted. So Attila has not spotted or scouted a lot, but yeah, I mean that scout should run into walls at this point. And so Doomster is just busy pushing deer at this point.
Yeah.
Okay, so apart from that, not a lot going on. We see Bloodless has lost a scout. He's already making a barracks up. And a bunch of idle TC time here for Attila Chewing Gum. We've got some idle TC time for Bomberman and quite a lot for Bloodless and Blizzard as well. So, I mean, yeah, compare that to Whoppy or Doomster, who both got 5 seconds of idle TC time. So that is nice. And so this should be interesting. I think he can get his walls up easily if he decides to. This house to maybe the stone or whatever, and from there to the tree line. Walling should be pretty easy for him. His main goal is slightly exposed, but I mean again, making a wall here should be easy enough for him to do if he decides to do that. Because honestly, at this point, it makes no sense to play without any sort of walls. So I do expect Bloodless to finish his walls. Might not be in time though, because Doomster's already sending his 3 militia forward. And I assume he's going for the Man-at-Arms upgrade. So, yeah. And there we go. Bloodless will unfortunately not be able to wall up and might even lose a villager here. Man, this is extremely irritating. I need to turn off this mod. I have no idea how it ended up getting activated. So Bloodless does manage to save a villager. Unfortunately, at this point, I mean, he is completely open. So these Man-at-Arms can wreak a lot of havoc, and the first archery range already getting up, being brought up. Yeah, this guy seems to want to not do any real work at all. So surprisingly, Blizzard 42 has managed to completely get his walls up, except for this small piece over here, which yeah he is going to attend to. And on the other side, oh man. So, Whoppy even loses a scout to Doomster's Man-at-Arms. And almost a second scout as well. So, okay, fair enough. At least Bloodless has done the smart thing by building the ranges inside the TC's range. So, the ranges should go up. Unfortunately, he is not collecting any real amount of gold. With a single villager who's actually spent more time repairing the mining camp. So yeah, Whoppy loses one more scout, unfortunately, and that's one archer out for Bloodless. But I mean, as I said, Bloodless has practically no gold at this point. He's got 36 gold. He's got a second villager who's collecting gold from over here, and he might even be sniped by this single solitary scout from Bomberman. So a lot of early pressure here by Agent, and yeah, Bloodless is getting the brunt of it, unfortunately. On the other side, I mean, we've got Blizzard 42 who has some archers out. And Attila with a 14-minute Man-at-Arms play is quite great, and yeah, so this villager can just fix this hole anyway, if there is one. But yeah, I mean, Blizzard has honestly not been able to do anything, even though he has 6 archers out. These guys, man, they need to go forward. And the fact that he's on a single archery range at this point. Actually, he has to. My apologies. I am slightly blind in one eye, I would say. But yeah, unfortunately, these guys aren't going forward. They need to do that. And oh man, so Bloodless has managed to get control over his gold, and Whoppy scouts coming in pretty handy here. So yeah, I mean at this point, man, these guys need to go forward because Doomster. Wait, what? Man, Doomster just you could have just walled up to the edge over here. And from here, I think, yeah, this makes sense. Fair enough. Or just wall up to this wood line and this. But then, yeah, I would also understand, if you haven't really scouted that much of the map, which you haven't, yeah. So, yeah, fair enough. Looking at the military numbers here, so we've got 12 military for Bloodless, 6 archers, 5 scones. And Doomster meanwhile has just 7 archers. So if there is a fight at this point, Bloodless would actually win the fight. And considering the fact that he's playing as the Ethiopians, so with the faster firing archers, this can be a pretty nice fight to take. But then Bloodless's military is not even in the right place. And Doomster is able to do a lot. The tower should go up, of course. But honestly, I don't like the tower location. Doomster can just park his archers here. And if he does that, there's not a lot that Bloodless can do. I mean, of course, Bloodless can just make the walls here. But I mean, at this point, 18 minutes in, I don't expect those walls to actually come up. So Bloodless will have to just fight open at this point. And okay, on the other side, we finally have the Blizzard 42 moving forward. He has fletching. Compare that to Attila, who has the free armor upgrade, but no fletching for him yet. Numbers are actually pretty similar. That's 10 archers versus 11 archers. But yeah, I mean, these 10 archers going up against Korean archers might end up being an issue for this guy. And okay, so we have Boppy's 1 scout. Actually, Boppy has 5 scouts. I do wonder where the rest of them are. Yeah, so there we go. There are the remaining scouts, but okay, so we do see Bloodless is trying to finish off the walls here. And nobody has clicked up to Castle Age yet. Although we do see Attila is getting the wheelbarrow. But I mean, looking at the resource numbers, actually quite a lot of them should be able to click up quite soon. Warpy, of course, playing as the Slavs with their faster farming bonus, they can get a lot of food collected quite quickly. But again, I mean, Warpy is playing completely open here, so this might end up being an issue long term. But yeah, I mean, on this side, we see Doomster. I mean, he has a massive military at this point. We see 12 archers for him. With those scouts from Bomberman, yeah, there's honestly not a lot that Bloodless can do over here. So Bloodless is down to just 3 archers at this point, and Doomster should be going forward now. Warpy, unfortunately, I mean, he has clicked up to Castle Age, but then he has just 2 scouts at this point. And even though for the other side, we don't see Bomberman having clicked up. Actually, Bomberman has clicked up, just as I say that. But yeah, I think the ping that Warpy has done on Bloodless's base over here, or his walls, I think is just reminding him to, try and get the walls up. And okay, so Doomster is moving forward. I think they are heading towards Warpy's base at this point. Let me just see the scouting. So, I mean, he's definitely not going towards Bloodless's base, which means that Warpy is about to be hit by Doomster's archers. These are still Pseudo's archers, so I mean, fair enough, they can get a palisade gate or a palisade wall down. But yeah, once Warpy gets to Castle Age, Knight should be able to clean that up pretty easily. And he even has 3 scouts at this point. Maybe he'll lose a couple of them. So yeah, I mean, as I was saying, Doomstar does manage to get inside, but yeah, let's see what Woppy can do from here. Looking at the resources, Woppy has enough to make, I think, 3 or 4 knights. But then Bomberman also has a scout, so yeah, and surprisingly, Doomstar still on just 2 archery ranges. He has the wood if he wants to drop a 3rd archery range, which is what I would expect Doomstar to do. Or will he go for a 2nd TC at this point? Okay, so he is going for a TC. He still should be able to get the wood for a 3rd archery range, which is what I would expect him to do at this point, because he needs the military numbers. That is usually how he plays. So these feudal archers should be taken care of by Woppy's knights. And considering the fact that okay, so I did not expect Blizzard's crossbows to be so close. So anyway, Woppy does end up losing most of his knights. And yeah, so Blizzard has the botkin upgrade. Compare that to Doomstar, who has just fletching, but he has the armor upgrade. But he still managed to take quite a few knights from Woppy. And okay, so Bloodless is going for a 2nd TC at this point. He's going for a university. I assume that is for ballistics. Yeah, I did notice. And okay, so Blizzard is, I believe, at this point, Blizzard needs to go forward. Because we have not seen any real aggression from Attila as of yet. And Attila still has these feudal age archers. So he is about to get to Castle Age. But I mean, at this point, we need to see Blizzard 42 going forward. Because he has a massive military number. He's got 29 crossbows. Compare that to 17 feudal age archers for Attila. And I think Doomstar is just pointing out where these guys need to hit, or Bomberman rather, needs to send his knights. And I mean, these are +2 knights. With a slightly larger number, they can actually take down the TC if they wanted to. But we also got Woppy with his knights here. So it should be interesting. We've got 6 knights for Woppy and 15 for Bomberman. So I mean, as I was saying initially, Bomberman seems to thrive playing as the pocket. His production has been extremely impressive. Yeah, most definitely. In this game, Bomberman is most definitely carrying Doomstar. Because Doomstar just does not have the military numbers at this point. 20 archers for Doomstar. That is like, you know, at 20 minutes that makes sense. At 28 minutes, you need to get about like 50 of them. So, yeah, I mean, fair enough. Even though Doomstar is Doomstar actually asking for Bomberman to send his some of his knights at the back, and Bloodless is attacking here. But I mean, long term, I do expect Bomberman to be able to sort of take care of his base. Although his walls seem to be pretty hilarious here, extremely close to his DCs. And not a lot of room for expansion, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, these Ethiopian crossbows, they won't be able to do a lot. And yeah, so that's just 12 crossbows remaining for Bloodless now. 12 of them over here, 36 for Blizzard, but then Blizzard is just camping with his archers here, or crossbows. Honestly, I don't understand why Attila Chewinggum has not been hit at all. Like if you look at the eco kills or the number of villagers being killed, Attila has managed to kill 9 villagers and not a single villager of his has lost a life. And so now, I mean, as I was saying, it practically made no sense for Blizzard 42 to leave his crossbows here, and he's just being raided by Attila's crossbows. Villager numbers, yeah, so I mean, we've got Woppy at 46, which is extremely bad, because compare that to his the other pocket is 72 for Bomberman. And yeah, I mean, honestly, it's not that big of an issue at Rankland if you're just talking about the villager numbers. But I mean, overall, these guys don't seem to really have a plan. Blizzard leaving his crossbows inside Warpy's base for way too long, and Doomster is now going forward. So we should see a siege workshop also coming here at some point, and that's 23 crossbows for him. Compare that to 36 for Doomster, or 33 over here. And with the support of Bomberman's Knights, yeah, I think this is pretty close to the end here, for Bloodless at least. Because, I mean, on the other side, if you look at it, Warpy has just 8 knights. And even though we see Bloodless clicking up to Imperial Age, I expect most of his military to die before he actually gets to Imp. And, yeah, so Attila even managed to save most of his crossbows after running inside Blizzard's base. And yeah, so there we go. I mean, pretty soon, Doomster's crossbow should be able to one-shot these knights here from Warpy. Yeah, I mean, how many crossbows? That's 34, right? I think you need about, what, 40 crossbows, is it? To one-shot fully upgraded Castle Age knights. Yeah, but I mean, at this point, there's just massive lead for Team Agent now. Double the military. And, I mean, again, as I say, the 50 villagers does not really matter a lot because we've seen that in the previous game, right? Where the Sultans always had more villagers compared to Stackers X. But, I mean, it's the military and the tech advantage that these guys have or are about to have. And yeah, so they're already inside Warpy's base. Warpy, unfortunately, with just 11 knights. Bomberman on the other side has 29 knights, and Bloodless is having to save his pocket here, unfortunately. I don't believe, yeah, I mean, there's no way this is about to work. And, I mean, honestly, yeah, I don't even know why Bomberman is sending his knights here. To protect Doomster. Doomster does not need protection at this point. Let's take a look at the resources. Oops. So we have Blizzard, who might be going for a castle at some point. Doomster is not. Okay, so Blizzard is just about to place a castle somewhere. There we go. Which is actually a nice location. But honestly, a castle here would have been slightly better, giving you access to the extra gold outside your base. But yeah, I mean, most of the action is here. And Bloodless with his Obelisk now should be able to, of course, one-shot these knights from Bomberman. But yeah, I mean, there's Warpy, man, just garrison your villagers, man. Warpy being so selfish is not even garrisoning his villagers. He's too busy collecting the gold to do that. And okay, so Bloodless and Warpy have managed to kill off Bomberman's knights, and quite a lot of Doomster's archers, for that matter, or crossbows. And Bloodless is deciding to go forward now. Honestly, man, this has been the biggest mystery for me. I mean, the fact that Blizzard has had a massive military lead on quite a few occasions and has not used his military at all. He's decided to stay in his base. At this point, you know what? If I check his scouting, yeah, there we go. He has not seen anything of Attila's base beyond, you know, the initial walls. And okay, so we have Bloodless going forward. Is there a twist in the tail here? Because Warpy at this point has 18 knights. We've got 47 Obelisks, and these are Ethiopian Obelisks here for Bloodless. So yeah, I mean, these guys can these guys can actually wreck. And the fact that he's playing as the Ethiopians, of course, he has access to very good siege. Siege rams, siege onagers, torsion engines, etc. Although I don't expect torsion engines to be researched, but yeah, I mean, Ethiopians, of course, have some amazing siege. And Doomster, yeah, still not an Imperial Age, so doing the smart thing here, just deciding to save his crossbows. He hasn't actually lost a lot of villagers here. He still might, but unfortunately, yeah, I think Bloodless, Bloodless can actually see these trees having been chopped here. So, if he had sent those crossbows here, would have been, would have been able to get a lot of kills. But yeah, I mean, instead he's now going towards the pocket. And Bomberman has 22 knights. Compare that to Warpy's, what, 19 knights? But yeah, man, Bomberman can actually be hit pretty hard here. But yeah, I mean, unfortunately, these guys are just taking down houses. And the slow trickle of Obelisk begins. We might still see a twist in the tail. If Bloodless is able to take care of the pocket here and apply pressure on Doomster, I do believe these guys might be able to come back. But I mean, on the other side, we've got Blizzard, who seems to be content just sticking inside his base, not really doing a lot. And man, Blizzard actually, Bloodless actually has a pretty massive military here. Of course, these obelisks should be taken care of by the Cavaliers from Bomberman. But yeah, okay. So fair enough. Doomster has 69 obelisks. Compare that to 40, about 40 for Bloodless, and the push has been neutralized. Surprisingly, he's going for a forward archery range. I would have expected him to just buy some stone and build a castle over here. And yeah, so that's Bloodless's entire military being taken care of. The entire military, of course, that had been sent forward. Doomster won't allow comebacks. Right, fair enough. Honestly, was it Doomster or was it Bomberman who won't allow the comebacks? Ah, yeah, Warpy's base is gone. Oh man. Yeah. So I mean, at this point now, yeah, there's no way to come back. If your pocket is dead, even though he is an Imperial, he might get the cavalry upgrade, but he has practically no eco to speak of. Uh, Practically no. Yeah, dude, please. So yeah, we've got Bomberman heading towards, and yeah, Warpy just decides to call the GG. So that's game 1 for Agent, and honestly, a massive misplay here by Blizzard 42. The guy, I mean, he made a lot of military, of course, but the fact that he never sent anything forward. I think his KD might not show the entire story, but yeah, I mean, just a massive misplay by Blizzard. Let's take a look at the stats. So, surprisingly, it was Attila who got the most kills. Of course, Attila went inside Blizzard's base and then took out Warpy single-handedly, so makes sense. And of course, he had the massive military, 102 to be exact. But yeah, I mean, Warpy with just 19 military does not really make sense. Compare that to Bomberman, who had practically 50 knights out. And even though even Bomberman's KD is not very impressive, I mean, it's just the amount of military that he had on the field at any point. And I honestly don't even believe Warpy had a lot of villagers here. So yeah, I mean, there we go. Warpy with 95 villagers. Compare that to Bomberman with 108. Apart from that, yeah, pretty similar numbers for everybody else. But I mean, just the fact that Blizzard 42 played extremely passively. So yeah, I guess we can just go to game 2 at this point, which is on Team Islands. I don't believe we've actually seen a single game in this tournament on Team Islands. So let me just turn on the overlay and okay, so apparently there has been a change in the team. Let me just fix that. We've got team agent over here, and we have no chance who's coming in place of Woppy. Okay. So best of 3 and give one to team agent. So yeah, we can go live. We have Bomberman here who's playing as the pocket. He's playing as the Vikings. Doomster on one side is playing as the Persians, and on the other side we've got Attila who's playing as the Italians. Italians plus Vikings on Team Islands. That should be a very potent mix actually. On the other side, we have No Chance, who's playing as the Byzantines. The pocket is Blizzard 42, who's playing as the Portuguese. And finally, on this side, we have Blatters, who's playing as the Berbers, who's actually quite close to the coast over here. So, yeah, I mean, Civ-wise, actually, even Langslan has pretty good civs. Byzantines, of course, with the faster firing fire ships. And the Portuguese, of course, with their bonuses on the gold, etc. Plus the fact that they have access to caravels over there. I believe the overlay is fine. If there is an issue, please just let me know in the chat. And actually, let me just correct myself. I don't believe this is the first game we've had on Team Islands. I do remember casting a game with No Chance on Team Islands. So I guess this might be the second game we've ever had in this tournament on Team Islands. Because a lot of teams have actually picked Team Islands as the home map, but they haven't played on it. Of course, quite a lot of times you even see teams picking a map just because they don't want the opposition to pick it and play it. So, picking a map is as effective as a ban. And yeah, this of course being Team Islands, there's not really going to be any sort of early aggression. The earliest we can see anything is in the feudal age when transport ships become available. So until then, yeah, it's just okay. Got the idle TC times, etc., etc., and somehow Bomberman has 10 seconds of it, and 8 seconds for No Chance. Although it has gone up to 10 seconds now. So yeah, I mean, apart from that, just the standard build order at this point for everybody. 5 on wood. Man,
Yeah.
Bomberman almost lost a villager to the Rhino. Luckily, he just managed to save it. So yeah, I mean, apart from that, it's pretty standard, except for the fact that this this villager has decided to slaughter a water buffalo, which yeah, I mean, Bloodless has noticed, so just moving the water buffaloes away. Bloodless did, I believe, lose a villager luring a boar in the previous game, so. Oh man, yeah, that Ibex does not want to cooperate. And Doomster seems to be pinging some locations. Could be locations for potential docks to be made in the future. Let's see. So, yeah, I mean, of course, I expect Bomberman in this game to just go for an FC and start pumping out longboats. Which is what I would personally do if I'm playing as the Vikings. So, makes sense, the dock at the back, and Doomster, yeah, as expected, going for a forward dock. I expect Attila to do the same. Actually, Attila is going for a back dock, so which is pretty interesting. And on the other side, we've got No Chance, who's made a forward dock. We've got... okay, so Blizzard has also made a forward dock, and finally, just looking at Bloodless here, so Bloodless has gone for a dock on the side, nothing on the front. And oh man, these Ibex aren't being cooperative at all. Yeah, so Bloodless, I think, just doing the smart thing this time, garrisoning villagers, or rather paying attention to his villagers as they are getting hit. So luckily he hasn't lost a villager yet this time. And interestingly, Zoom coming in. I personally do not see players getting Zoom on Team Islands especially. I mean, if you do notice, if there has been any sort of an incursion with a transport ship on your base, it of course does make sense to just get Zoom. But at this point, yeah, I mean, why get Zoom? Your villagers aren't in any real danger. So not only are you saving the 50 gold, but you're even saving the idle time on your TC. And Attila is even going for outposts here, which of course does make sense. They want to make sure that there is no transport ship shenanigans. So, which is, I think that is what Doomster might be pinging, where Attila needs to make the outposts. So, yep, there we go. So that is what the pings were for.
Yeah.
And okay, fair enough. Bomberman getting Zoom actually helped him because he would have otherwise lost that villager. But yeah, I mean, apart from that, just conventional stuff at this point. Let's just see. And we already have Zartris, who is on on the island of Team Agent, and they might actually be spotted here. And there we go. So Attila does manage to spot not only the scout, but the fact that there's a stable coming up as well from Bloodless. So I expect, of course, Bloodless is in feudal age. He's made the stable, so I expect him to go for scouts, which he should have queued up if he hasn't yet. Yeah, there we go. And Doomstar sending a scout forward. Has there been any landing on the other side? So, okay, Agent has not done any of that. And okay, on this side we have Doomstar already out with his fire galleys, and no chance here. Of course, no chance should be able to reinforce much faster. Of course, due to the fact that I mean the fight is happening close to his base. But yeah, Doomstar. So one kill or one death for both of them over here. But I mean, no chance is already on 3 docks. He should be able to outproduce Doomstar at this point because Doomstar has just 2 docks over here. And yeah, so there you go. Doomstar already losing his first fishing ship. Might end up losing a few more, especially if the fishing ships just come forward to get slaughtered. So yeah, and on this side we have Blizzard, who's already out with his fire ships, and man, these walls, they don't do anything. So I mean, fair enough. You want to sort of stop any sort of scout incursions, but these fire ships can just chill out over here and kill the walls. And okay, so on this side, No Chance is now finally moving forward towards Doomstar's base, and yeah, I mean, these berries might be threatened here. On the other side, we have Bomberman, who's already clicked up to Castle Age. So he should be in Castle Age by about 17 minutes or so. And at this point, I think he's on a single dock. Yeah, so Bomberman is on a single dock. I do expect him to make at least 2 more docks in the front. And yeah, so Bloodless scouts. Actually, just getting 2 villager kills here, so not really a lot. And we already have feudal age archers out. Bloodless making stables, or rather a stable, and a couple of archery ranges here. And Attila actually is just walling in the archery range, which usually does not work. But yeah, I mean, considering the fact that Zardis does not have a lot of military to stop these villagers from, finishing the walls. And yeah, so Zardis' villagers are being tracked now, and he will end up losing them. And I mean, honestly, the fact that Bomberman is just building his okay, so he already got a couple of villagers forward, which means yeah, he's going for a three dog strategy, and yeah, he needs to start making his longboats as soon as possible. Because I mean, on this side, we've already got Blizzard 42 who's taking down Doomster's dock. We've got No Chance, who I believe has killed most of or all of Doomster's fishing ships at this point. Because Doomster, of course, does not have a back dock. So Doomster will have to resort to farms to get his food income. And yeah, I mean, at this point, I would definitely say that Zankran has the lead on water. Now, whether these guys manage to keep the lead and defend against the Bomberman, who should be getting his first longboats out. And yeah, even the mill going down for Doomster, unfortunately. So, I mean, yeah, this is pretty nice to see. Blizzard actually being extremely proactive in this game. Has gone forward with his fire galleys. But yeah, I mean, once these longboats are out, they should be able to make short work of the fire galleys over here. Although Blizzard does have a pretty big number of them. But yeah, I mean, Bomberman needs to make more docks at this point. Let's just take a look at the resources here. So yeah, Bomberman unfortunately does not have a lot of wood. Maybe he's dropped a town center or two. Okay, so he has not dropped even a single extra town center. And yeah, so the stable and the archery range being taken down. Was pretty valiant forward actually. He managed to get these guys scared for a moment, I would say. But yeah, I mean, after that, they've managed to gain control, at least over their own island, although they are losing most of the water control. And Bomberman has 10 longboats at this point. Compare that to 9 fire galleys for Blizzard and 13 for No Chance. And No Chance is going forward on this side now. And these are fire ships now. So yeah, there we go. These longboats unfortunately won't be able to do a lot of work, especially considering the limited number that Bomberman has at this point. And yeah, so there we go. Bomberman loses pretty much his entire military. To how many? That's 14 fast fire ships. Any other landing that we can spot? I don't believe that these guys have gone for any more landings yet. And Attila is also making a transport ship, so should be interesting to see what he decides to send in this transport ship. Right, feudal age archers. I don't know how much sense that makes, but yeah. And even going for another TC at this point. So, yeah, I mean, looking at the military numbers, I would say even though Zankran has a smaller total number of military, the fact that, these guys aren't really able to do anything on the water. Oh, man, please don't, just passing. So, Attila manages to just send a transport ship through all of uh, this military for Blizzard here, and should be able to drop these archers as well, which are now Castle Age crossbows. So fair enough. Yeah, exactly. Just passing by, man. Just bloody hilarious. How like it's not even a matter of one ship just passing by. It's like what that's what 11 fast fire ships. And yeah, of course there are going to be pings now because Attila has managed to get inside, or rather on uh, Lanclan's base. And these guys, okay, so there are 6 knights that Bloodless has, but okay, so Bloodless was actually deciding to use a transport ship to transport knights. These 2 knights plus 2 knights should actually be able to push against these, and yeah, there we go. So these 4 knights from Bloodless should be able to take care of these crossbows. Honestly, yeah, I mean, transporting just like 5, 7, whatever, 10 crossbows does not really make a lot of sense. And Bloodless now sending 4 knights. Why not a villager, man? And Bloodless even making an outpost here. I mean, that's still way too deep inside. Just line up your edges with outposts if you're going for heavy outposts. So yeah, I mean, no chance on this side. Has pretty much completely wiped out Doomster's fishing ships, etc., etc. And now I believe Bomberman's fishing eco is about to be hit as well. No chance looping from the back, so should be able to take care of Bomberman's fishing ships. And Bloodless does manage to get a proper landing done here. These crossbows should be taken care of, most definitely, by these knights. And I mean, these scouts won't really be able to do anything. And okay, so right, no chance going towards the back. Bomberman does have a pretty sizable military over here. 23 longboats. Compare that to 15 fast fire ships, or rather fire ships for no chance here. Yeah, the upgrade, so no chance has the upgrade for them. Bomberman, meanwhile, does not, but he does have the Botkin upgrade. And let me just check if he has a university up. Okay, so Bomberman does not have a university, which means no ballistics for him. Should be able to push these fire ships away. But I mean, yeah, long term, Bloodless has been able to do a lot of work here. Is constantly harassing Attila. Doomstar does have the first camel out. He should be able to now take care of these knights that are on his base, or on his island rather. And yeah, so no chance just pulling back. Bomberman is now going forward. Let's see if they manage to get control over the water. Looking at the villager numbers, we've got 234 total villagers for Land Clan. Compare that to Agent who are on just 190. The military numbers are actually identical. Military values are also pretty identical. That's 7.7k total resources for Land Clan and 7.6 for Agent. But yeah, I mean, if with the right amount of micro, Bomberman should be able to take these fire ships down. But okay, instead he's deciding to run. And okay, so Bloodless is sort of inside Bomberman's base here, and Doomster's camels don't seem to want to fight with them, I assume. Okay, yeah, there we go. And okay, so Bloodless is just constantly using transport ships to transport military. It is surprising. I mean, at this point, just send a couple of villagers forward. No, this isn't live. The games are being cast from recordings. Because players seem to have issues with the logistics, etc., whatever, and the scheduling or whatever. So the finals will be live. The winner bracket semi-finals have already been completed. The recs are not available, of course, but the games are already done. Yeah. And man, No Chance now has a massive military here, and we even see the caravels come out for Blizzard 42. And I mean, yeah, in front of this, Bomberman needs to just run. Run his ass off. No Chance also an Imperial Age, by the way. So yeah, I think No Chance should be able to take. No Chance should be able to take this fight easily. Yeah, exactly. Attila's in the chat. And yeah, I mean that's not a small number. That's still 48 longboats for Bomberman. But Bomberman is still in Castle Age. Compare that to No Chance being in Imperial Age. And yeah, thanks, man. Uh, just trying as hard as I can because I'm honestly not so comfortable casting Team Island games or whatever. But yeah, I mean, so as I was saying, Bloodless needed to transport some villagers. It seems he tried to and ended up losing those villagers. And yeah, the stable does not come up. Wait, what? What exactly was the point of that? Right. So, okay, on this side we have Doomster who has clicked up to Imperial Age now, by the way. And we have No Chance who's also getting ballistics. Because, yeah, these are fast fire ships. Fast fire ships or fire ships rather, whatever. Don't really need ballistics. So, maybe he's going for a tech switch at this point. And, man, on this side, Blizzard. Honestly, man, if anybody is collecting stone, so No Chance is collecting stone. And on the other side, Attila also has enough stone for a castle. I would just place a castle here if I was Attila. And yeah, so there's massive fight over here. Bomberman unfortunately is not an Imperial Age yet, and No Chance already has his fast fire ships here. 32 of them actually. And yeah, so even the caravels are coming forward now. And honestly, man, there's some lack of communication here because No Chance is just not engaging with this military, and only Blizzard 42 is. So some better communication, and yeah, Bomberman would have lost quite a lot of his military here. And okay, so Bloodlust has finally managed to get some villagers on this island. Safe for now. Unfortunately, won't be for long because Attila's crossbows, without ballistics, I might add, are tracking these villagers. So yeah, let's see what these villagers are able to accomplish. Bloodlust actually does have almost enough stone for a castle. But yeah, I mean, with 3 villagers, yeah, that castle won't be coming up over here, most definitely. And again, this massive fight over here at the back. And No Chance is unfortunately not active with his military. So even though we see Bomberman losing quite a lot of his military here, No Chance needed to, be forward. Like if you are worried that, the opponent might make some more docks, etc. or whatever, just, like leave 4 or 5 and go forward. Try and completely finish off Bomberman. And Bloodlust meanwhile is wreaking havoc on Bomberman's base at this point. So yeah, there we go. Bomberman has clicked up to Imperial Age. But yeah, I mean honestly at this point Land just have a massive lead. Whether it is the villagers or the military, it's like 40 more villagers and man, almost like 80 more military for Land Clan. So yeah, I mean, No Chance being the replacement for Warpy seems to have done a lot of good for these guys, for Land Clan. And Bomberman even going for some sort of a raid over here. Unfortunately, yeah, this raid with 20 not really healthy longboats isn't going to do a lot. And Attila also manages to get to Imperial Age. But I mean, here's the surprising thing. So these guys have not been really able to do a lot. Team Agent, I mean, most of the time, or most of their time has been spent on their own base, defending from Zardolus's advances with his knights. And yeah, so now we see even these docks from Bomberman being threatened, and so no chance has already dropped a castle on Doomster's base. Doomster does have a defensive castle here, of course, but no chance is an Imperial Age. I mean, for that matter, so is Doomster. And yeah, so that's the first trap out for no chance. Looking at Doomster, unfortunately, yeah, does not have any traps in production. Yeah, so no chance is definitely a beast on water maps. And okay, so Doomster has managed to get a dock up somewhere, which is something that we've missed in all this time. Because as far as I can remember, you had practically no presence on water. There we go. So these are your docks. But yeah, I mean, long term, I see this as a victory for Land Clan because there's almost 100 more military for these guys. There's like 30 more villagers, and just the tech advantage at this point, and the fact that the battle is on Team Agent's base and not on Land Clan's base. So, I mean, Attila with his Arbalest can hold off for a short amount of time, but yeah, I mean, you can just see here. So, Bloodless will just start spamming. He's going for Cavaliers and Heavy Camels. So, yeah, I mean, there's not really anything that Doomster or Attila can do against this. Especially considering the fact that your pocket has just 63 villagers. So, yeah, I mean, Doomster, even though he has his camels, and yeah, there we go. So, the GG has been called. I assume once the castle dropped, it was just time to call it. So, yeah, GG's and the equalizer for Land Clan, which means we do have a game 3 in this set. Let's just take a look at the stats. So, yeah, No Chance was absolutely beastly in this game. And Bloodless, of course, with his multiple excursions on Team Agent's Island, did manage to, cause a lot of idle eco time, especially for Attila Chewing Gum and occasionally for Bomberman as well. So, yeah. But what is surprising is the fact that No Chance was able to build a castle on Doomster's side, whereas Bloodless really wasn't able to, produce or rather make any production buildings on Attila's side, or rather make production buildings that lasted for very long. So yeah. And eco-wise, yeah, Blizzard on top. Unfortunately, not collecting any stone at all. But yeah, I mean, they still managed to come out on top. So yeah, doesn't really matter. And No Chance with a 28-minute imp, as Doomster said, playing quite beastly over here. And yeah, so GG's to Land Clan. And here's the timeline, which means we have a game 3, which is on Arena. Man, this should be fun. And okay, so no changes in the players, which means we can just go live immediately. And we have Bomberman, who is playing as the Cumans. On this side, we've got Doomster, who's playing as the Mayans, and on the other side, we've got Attila Chewing Gum, who's playing as the Turks. Wait, what? So, Turks has been picked, and Attila decides to go for Turks rather than Doomster. This I have to see. On the other side, we've got Blizzard 42, who's playing as the Mongols. No Chance as a pocket playing as Khmer, and on the other side we have Bloodless who's playing as the Vietnamese. Vietnamese on Arena. It can be extremely potent, of course. I mean, as I was mentioning during the Sieve Draft, having Vietnamese on Arena might not seem like that big of a deal, but the fact that you have access to some extremely good trash with the Vietnamese, and the fact that you have some very good siege or at least bombard cannons, can be pretty deadly. Yeah, got to debate everyone. Yeah, I mean, sometimes, man, these 500 IQ plays can end up kicking your own ass. Because if you're talking about fast imp or any sort of arena clown strats, I would expect you to accomplish them better than say Attila. So yeah, fair enough. And I mean, we can see that the deer is not being cooperative at all. Looking at the idle TC times, Doomster with 25 seconds. I assume that's because you got low. Playing as a Mayan, so of course you're pop capped from the start, which would explain the 25 seconds of idle time. And apart from that, okay, so Doomster has already scouted his opponent here, being Blizzard 42. Wait, what? Ah, okay.
Timo.
Beating ban.
So that's actually a nice lure by Blizzard 42. I think on account of the fact that the villager came out at exactly the right time, so that lady has not lost a lot of health. And yeah, I mean, wait, what? No chance. 17, 18 seconds of. Oh man, so no chance had to force drop just to queue up a villager, and 22 seconds of idle time for him. And as I say that, Doomster's got a pretty massive amount of idle time as well now, so that's 38 seconds for him. Of course, once you take out the 25 seconds, it is pretty similar to no chance. And yeah, so I mean, apart from that, this being arena, there's not a lot to talk about in Dark Age. Just the usual stuff. No multiple sheep being slaughtered, and actually, as I say that, I just spotted this. Got one sheep slaughtered here. There's one more sheep. And yes, man, in all this chaos, oh, he just manages to save that lady. 4 HP. Unfortunately, he's got 3 rotting animals under his TC at this point, Blizzard. And he's trying to push another deer as well. Yeah, so Attila, meanwhile, seems to have found his flank as well. No villager losses to boars yet. And honestly, I don't even expect that to happen now, especially on Arena, considering the fact that scouting isn't so important. So most of your attention is focused on, trying to make sure that your build order is done correctly, or properly rather. And yeah, I mean, at this point, not a lot to really talk about, except for, okay, that's fair enough. Let's just take a look at their bases then. So, No Chance actually has a pretty exposed gold, or rather a forward gold, but then he's playing as a pocket, so I don't expect a lot of aggression on his base or, some sort of a castle drop early on. On the other side, for Bloodless, his main gold is slightly safe. His secondary gold, I believe, can be ranged by crossbows over here, although that usually does not happen. And right, so we've already got Bomberman who has clicked up to Feudal Age. Although it depends to be seen, whether he goes for a second TC in Feudal or he's going for any sort of Siege Workshop shenanigans. And yeah. So Bomberman also having 28 seconds of idle time on his TC. I do believe that might have just been because he did not have the food to pick up at 20 pop.
Salam.
And on this side, let's just take a look at the scouting then. Right, so Doomstar has just only really scouted this side of Blizzard's base. And we might even see a scout fight. So, okay, Doomstar just decides to bail out. On this side, let's take a look at the scouting. Okay, so We've got Attila, who has managed to scout a little more compared to Doomster. On this side, yeah, so Blood is pretty much the same scouting that Attila has done. And yeah, so this is actually almost a mirror. Uh, we have both the flanks having scouted the same amount on their sides. And apart from that, we see Bomberman, who has got a few delays, and okay, he is going for a boom rather than any sort of siege workshop in the feudal age. And wait, what is Bloodless pinging? Huh? Bloodless is going for a barracks. Fair enough. Might just be to make some scouts to get some control over the relics. But I mean, apart from that, I expect pretty much everybody else, or rather everyone, to go for a fast castle here. No Chance has already clicked up, by the way. Yeah, man, I cast. Your games have been cast. And yeah, GG's and well played to you guys. Especially, reaching to this stage of the tournament. And yeah, I genuinely hope to see you guys take part in the next tournament. Should be announced, I believe, when I'm casting the finals of the Sultans Cup. So yeah, No Chance is about to get to Castle Age. Khmer, of course, not requiring the extra buildings or whatever to click up, just frees them up so much. And now we have Bladris also, who has clicked up, and so has Blizzard 42. On the other side, we've got actually nobody who has clicked up yet. And wait, what is No Chance doing here? What? Why is No Chance sending a single solitary villager forward? And what the hell does he have in mind? So he is going for a siege workshop. And unfortunately, Attila is going to spot this. So, oh man. This should be pretty interesting to see. Yeah. Did you guys actually face each other in any match? Sultans versus Agent. No Chance is a traitor. He had told his team all my plans. But then you are a clown, right? You have so many plans, so it's usually a matter of just doing something which is unexpected, like giving Attila the toxic. Okay. So you guys unfortunately did not play against each other. And yeah, the blood is with how many archers? That's five archers about to be crossbows. What upgrades do these have? Okay, just fletching. Oh man. This will be hilarious for a while. So No Chance going for a siege tower, and Attila will, I expect, be hit with these. Okay, something just happened here, but I mean, yeah, fair enough. Attila should be able to get the tower up. The problem is once he does get to Imperial Age, what is he planning on doing? Because or rather, fair enough. I mean, he is already about to be in Castle Age, and my expectation was that he was going for a sort of a fast imp, which, as we can see here at this point, he is going to be unable to. So I assume this was for some sort of an FC into Janissaries or whatever. So he will get his castle up. And these crossbows, I mean, they've done quite a lot of damage, but yeah, I mean, overall, these crossbows should be dead pretty soon. And the fact that Attila has got a castle right next to his secondary gold means that, you know, these crossbows, even though they might camp here for a while, they won't really be able to stop Attila's golden come. And yeah, I mean, I do actually expect, you know, once Bomberman does get to Castle Age, I believe he should be able to completely wreck. So yeah, I mean, Attila will get his castle up. These crossbows, let's just see how much eco they've actually been able to kill. So Bloodless has managed to get 5 villager kills. He saw you teaching Attila all the builds. Voice chat. I mean, then it's just stupid of you to allow him to be in the voice chat, right? I mean, friends are friends, fair enough, but if you're planning for a tournament, honestly, I would just tell him, man, just piss off, let us train. And yeah, so the Janissary is already out for Attila. And Bloodless, I doubt he will be able to do a lot once the Janissaries are masked up. And okay, so oh man, so Bloodless is actually going inside Bomberman's base as well. Yeah, exactly. Just spotted it in nick of time. But then you're just about to hit Castle Age, right? So. Okay, so you don't even have a barracks yet, which is slightly unfortunate. And surprisingly, you've gone for a TC before any sort of a military building. Let me just check how much wood you have. Okay, so you've got 350 wood, which means you can drop a barracks and a stable after that. Looking here, so I mean the castle has done wonders for Attila. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I did expect you to boom, but looking at the circumstances, of course, this is still just what 6 crossbows at this point, so they can't really do a lot. And the fact that Doomster's already sent 3 plumed archers to help you, man. Look at what a friend he is. In all these games, you've played as the pocket, or Bomberman has played as the pocket, and he's the one usually bringing like 20-30 knights. And when it's Doomster's turn to, you know, send some assistance, this is what he sends. So that's what, like, that practically totals what, 2 plumes. And yeah. Oh, he sent 3 more. So yeah, Doomster. Yeah, Doomster with his 5 plumes. And yeah, still, oh man. So Bloodless, of course, with the tech advantage, and we live to see the day where Doomster actually has to help somebody, and he sends 4 plumed archers to save his friend. Meanwhile, we seem to have missed this. Doomster did get to Imperial Age, and he's got a couple of trebs out, which means Blizzard is about to be hit pretty hard. The shitty thing here for Blizzard is that his castle can actually be ranged from outside his base. So I do believe if Doomster gets his trebs here, they can easily range this castle. And even though Blizzard has quite a lot of military here, that's 21 crossbows here. There's this castle coming up. I don't think Blizzard is... so Blizzard does not know about this castle that is coming up. And on this side, yeah, so we have Bloodless who is trying to take down the siege workshop, and yeah, so the Janissaries, of course, will be able to make short work of the siege if they, yeah. So at this point, yeah, Bloodless doing the smart thing, just fucking off with his crossbows. He needs some siege of his own. If not siege, maybe, you know, just ask No Chance to try and send maybe a couple of knights into his base, because No Chance does have 9 knights here. But yeah, I mean, this single mangonel is able to do quite a lot of work here for Attila. And on the other side, yeah, so as I was saying, in fact, from quite a bit far away than I was planning, and the gate has now been petarded. So Doomster should just be able to walk in at this point with his plumed archers. And so they have the botkin upgrade. He's just about to get the bracer as well, so that's nice. And Bomberman has also clicked up to Imp. No Chance meanwhile hasn't. He's still getting his armor upgrade for his stable units. And Blizzard 42 is getting ballistics. He should be able to get it, of course. His university is not being targeted, so yeah. But yeah, so fair enough. The push that we were talking about, No Chance did get his knights forward and managed to take care of Attila's military. But I mean, at this point, Doomster has a pretty sizable lead. I mean, on the tech side at least, because Blizzard, of course, is still in Castle Age. Doomster on the other side is an Imperial Age, and he might even go for a tech switch at some point. Although I haven't seen anything, to suggest that. And yeah, so Blizzard's TC goes down, and Blizzard unfortunately cannot engage with these plumes at this point. These guys have Bracer. I don't believe they have chemistry yet. Ezekiel is shite for tech switch. Yeah, fair enough. I mean, poor guy's on a single TC, and yeah, looking at the food count, yeah, definitely, yeah. Quite presumptuous of me actually to expect him to do tech switch. And another thing I just noticed, I do not believe Doomster has ballistics at this point. Let me just check. Nope, no university for him either. And okay, fair enough, he's still getting his armor upgrades. And yeah, so Bomberman just hits Imperial Age now, and honestly at this point, yeah, once this is out for talks, along with the fact that we've got Bomberman who is an imp and is now getting the cavalry upgrade, there's not really a lot that can be done. So yeah, I mean these Janissaries will make short work of these knights. So even though Attila might use both these bombard cannons, yeah, I mean these Janissaries at this point, yeah, they can just dominate now. And okay, Attila even sending a villager to repair this. Meanwhile, on this side, the push is also going pretty well. And Bomberman, meanwhile, has already got his cavalry upgrade. So yeah, compare that to No Chance, who's also an imp now, and he's also about to get his cavalry upgrade. He's got 20 knights. Compare that to just 12 for Bomberman, but I do believe Bomberman has a slightly higher number of farms and just more villagers on gold. So Bomberman should be able to pump way more cavaliers compared to No Chance at this point. And again, looking at the villager numbers, we've got Bomberman with 117, compare that to just 100 for No Chance. So even though No Chance has these cavaliers out, they seem to be running in the wrong direction, unfortunately. Because yeah, we honestly, man, Attila needs to just target the gate rather than the castle. Because I mean, once the gate is down, these cavaliers can just be sent inside to raid. So yeah, I mean, I don't understand why he's trying to bring down a castle that is taking so long to be brought down. And yeah, on this side, yeah, so Blizzard unfortunately has been completely wrecked over here. And I don't expect him to actually even get to Imperial Age. Although he does have a lot of resources, that's 3,500 food and 2,000 gold for him. But yeah, I mean, at this point, there's no way he gets to Imp from here. Unless he, of course, manages to save some villagers, send them out maybe to No Chance's base and click Imp from that TC. Yeah. And yeah, so as expected now, the gates have gone down, and Bomberman has slightly more military, but then Bomberman has paladins. Compare that to No Chance, who has just standard cavaliers over here. And yeah, so these guys just call the GG at this point. So that means we've got a 2-1 for Team Agent. And Team Agent now goes into the semis against Stackers X. Uh, I believe they've already started scheduling for the game, so maybe the game has even happened. I'm not really sure. Doomster's in the chat, so maybe you can just shed light on that. But if the game is done before, let's say Saturday, we should be able to cast the semifinals from both the winners bracket and the losers bracket at the same time. Right, okay. So the game is tomorrow. Good luck, guys. And unfortunately, yeah, so this is the end of LAN for the Sultans Cup. I had a bunch of fun casting your games, so GG's, guys, and hope to see you guys or parts of your team in the next tournament. Because yeah, I mean, you already had Logistica's bowing out in the previous round, so yeah, GG's, guys, and hope to see you guys in the next tournament. Let's just look at the stats now. So yeah, I mean that is of course with the early on shenanigans along with No Chance, but yeah, I mean it did not really amount to much. You can just look at the KDs over here. I mean Bloodless did manage to get some work done, but then his KD is pretty atrocious. And Bomberman, yeah, per usual, with the largest army, or close to the largest army, which he usually does have. And yeah, him getting to Paladins before No Chance getting to that. Oh, I don't believe No Chance even clicked for the Paladin upgrade. But yeah, I mean, GG's, guys. Well played. And that means Team Agent is now in the semi-finals of the loser bracket, where they will face Stackers X. So that should be a pretty interesting game, cracker of a game, I hope. Yeah, so he did. Okay, right. He's playing as the Khmer, right. They don't have access to Paladins, my bad. Right. And yeah, so villager numbers, Bomberman, 129 villagers, No Chance at just 100, and Doomster, yeah, his shitty eco, of course, with just 57 villagers. His military was, I believe, higher than his. Okay, so it was not. So Doomster with 44 military and 57 villagers, which means he does manage to get to cross 100 total population, but just barely. And yeah, so that's GG's for the second set as well. Let me just update the brackets here. So yeah, this is what the loser bracket looks like now. We have Stackers X versus Team Agent, who are playing effectively the semi-finals of the loser bracket, and whoever wins this set between Stackers X and Team Agent goes on to face whoever lost in the semi-finals of the winners bracket, which should be cast on Saturday. So that should be interesting as well. Three-man saw versus Team Arquebus. And yeah, I mean, I guess this is it from me here, and I hope you guys had fun watching these games. And I mean, as I've said in on the Discord, I mean, the end of the tournament is pretty close now, so I hope you guys are having fun, and I guess we should be able to see the games on Saturday evening, I suppose, at 8:30 p.m. or whatever, depending on my plans. But yeah, hopefully we see a couple of extremely interesting sets over there as well. And I mean, that's it from me tonight. Let me just see who's casting, or rather who's streaming. Maybe we can rate somebody else. Okay, so we've got Dragonstar streaming over here. Let us read him. And yeah, GG's, guys. Good night. See you for the semis.